Okay. Next, I want to talk about, so we'll have an exercise today. So we're going to start to get into, one of our default things to do is to sort of crowdsource stuff so that we can all do a little bit of work. So we might have a lab, an assignment, an activity. And, you guys each go look up like 10 things. And so, you look up 10 things, you look up 10 things, and we want to pull it together. So we will use Google Sheets fairly often for that. And I just want to go over some of the common mistakes that people have with that. And so here's the default procedure. Wait, did I write it out? I might have written it out. Yeah, look at that. Aha. Okay, so you always want to save a copy of this. So the best practice is this. The best practice is we have our mothership data sheet that we all will be adding to or contributing to. And then therefore, you guys will all be able to use in your write-up or analysis or whatever we're doing at the end of it. But as we're working on getting to that master collaborator version, Google Sheets is wonderful in that we can all work on the same document, right? The downside is that we're all working on the same document. And so pretty common these days when we're doing this, somebody, not because people are trying to be a jerk, but just because they mess up, someone will do something that causes us some problems, right? And then we're then everybody has the problem because we all share it. So the basic idea is when we have one of these shared activity sheets, you're going to want to make your own local copy of that sheet. The best is to simply download it to your laptop, download it to your local machine. If you're on an iPad or something, or you don't have a laptop with you, that's okay. But you still want to move that document to your local Google Drive, right? So you always want to have your personal private version where it's just you. And then you can fill out whatever the info is on that sheet. And then once you get it filled out, the 5 things, the 10 things, the 20 things, whatever it is, okay, good. Then you can go back and copy those cells, those rows, whatever it is, and then jump back over to the master document and just paste it in. And that works way better than all of us trying to get on it at time. Google Sheet is great when it's 2 of us together, 3 of us together, sometimes 4 of us together. But once we start to get like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 people, it tends to get really laggy. And then especially if someone accidentally does something amiss, like accidentally pastes over onto somebody else's row or something like that, then we start to get crazy time. So by having your local copy with your local data, you're good. You're always good. So if I'm grading it and you only get half the points, you're like, Dr. A, why did I get half the points? I'm like, oh, you only gave me half the responses. You're like, no, dude, I did all whatever, 15 or whatever. I'll be like, okay, just show me. And you just, boom, call up your sheet. I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, can you paste that in for us? Okay, cool. Boom, 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 boom. And we're all good, right? So just because someone accidentally overpastes on your data, don't want you to lose points, right? And you have it protected, so we can always rebuild it if we need to. The key thing with that, though, is that you're adding stuff into the master sheet as the last step. Everybody with me on that? The last step. Okay. And so here's an example, and this is from just last semester. I just grabbed an example. So here's a thing from Coastal, and some of you guys have Coastal. You're probably having a flashback. You're like, oh my God, but it's okay. It's okay. We're not doing. But the idea is, so here we have. So look, here's a file, and it says 2024 seafood survey. And this one says seafood data fall 24. Enter data here, right? But then we have this one over here that says copy of seafood data, fall 24. So obviously somebody's made a copy of that. That's not inherently problematic. But when we start off the exercise and I have, say, just one file in there that just says, enter data here, and then all of a sudden there starts to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versions of that, that's obviously confusing. So we want to, again, having a version locally is good. So if this person right here, so again, the preferred pathway is just right-click on it or go over to the ellipse over there, the 3 dots, and say, download. download this to my local machine. That's the best. But the other thing you can do is you could make a duplicate like these guys did, but then the next step is you must move it to your particular Google Drive, right? So you can suck it into your area. And then go back and check and make sure you didn't leave something accidentally in our shared drive. If so, just go ahead and delete your extra copy. So this is telling me that these guys made some copies, and again, they weren't trying to mess us up. They weren't trying to cause people problems, but they started creating junk, and we started filling up. And then in this case, other students started putting their data into the other file, and then that causes, like, where's the stuff? I entered it. No, you didn't. Oh my God! And then people get stressed out. So again, you want to have a local copy. Use that as your primary thing. You're typing, tweaking, and all that kind of stuff. And then the last step, you can go back, copy and paste it into the bad boy. And so you can tell so if you just hit duplicate, Google Sheet will add copy of in front of whatever the name is, and it looks like it's owned by somebody other than me. And so again, to do that, you just would go over to the right-hand side of the folder, of the area in Google Sheets, and here are your options, right? So you could download if you want to download it to your desktop. You can rename it if you wanted to say, Sean's copy or Sean's copy of Lab 1 or whatever, whatever the case may be. And here's what most people did. Most people made a copy, which again isn't inherently wrong, but they should have first made a copy and then click this Organize tab, which says, hey, I want to move it to some other location, and then you can move it to your particular personal. You have to be signed in. I should say, to do that, you have to be signed into Google through your account. A lot of times I'll share these files with you guys as just anybody with a link can edit them, just so it doesn't cause us any problem. So to get access to the move, you just want to make sure that you have your Google identity in there so that you have your permanent folder storage area saved. And all these files that we're doing are relatively small. So you're not going to get any, 17 gigabyte files that it's going to eat up all your Google Drive space. They're all pretty light. They're all relatively small. Cool. Any questions about that?